This week in our collective heads, wanna put an old rumor to bed. Stereotype that you've all heard, how we're all just angry video game nerds. Most of us have actual jobs, kids and families and cats and dogs, yeah. This week in our collective heads, this week in our collective heads.
Hello and welcome to TWIOCH. We give you the weekly gaming news every week because that's how weekly works, and we tell you what's important in gaming and other topics because we tend to ramble. We want you to stay up to date in video games because a lot of cool stuff happens, and some stuff flies under the radar if you're if you have a busy week or if you just don't keep up to date with things like we do. We allow you one place, a one-stop shop, anywhere and everywhere you want to get that news. On YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitch. We have a podcast. We're everywhere that you want to be because we want to be with you. Let's start off with the backwards compatible games.
Yay, backwards compatible games.
Yeah. Starting out, because the only one that was announced was Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Conviction, which...
So we know about the basic series, but Conviction was the one where Sam Shepard had a religious conversion, right? And that kind of changed the gameplay?
I'm going to assume... I'm going to say yes, because I don't know.
Okay. Well, okay, so in Splinter Cell Conviction, I feel like they'd kind of run out of ideas to a certain extent. Uh-huh. And you know how Sam Fisher always runs around with that try thing for his night vision.
Yeah.
Okay, well, he came to believe that he was able to survive so many highly unlikely missions in a row throughout the course of his career by the blessing of God, and he believes that those three lights represent the Trinity and their protection over him. And so that's why he's been able to go through so many things. And so before each mission in Splinter Cell Conviction, you actually have to do two separate mini games where you're trying to balance out the Father, the Son, and the Spirit. And you're also you have to reach a point as Fisher's his handler, basically, and you're needing to convince him that what he's doing is not only ethically right, but will advance the kingdom. So it's a highly sacrilegious, highly fictional. I mean, it's doubly fictional because one, Sam Fisher's not a real person, and number two, I just made that up on the spot because that's what we do with our backwards compatibility games. We love the feature, but we didn't just want to say, hey, here's a thing. And so we enjoy making them up. So if you have ideas for what you think Splinter Cell Conviction could be, only if you haven't played it, put them in the comments down there.
Yeah, if you played it, it doesn't count. You have to make it up because you don't know what it is. And Tom Clancy is God in this, right?
Yes, he is.
That's what I thought. Just had to add that bit there. We did get some other Tom Clancy stuff going on because Rainbow Six is free for a weekend again.
Yay!
Not the first time.
That's a series that this is like season 3. Like that game's been out for a while, and it's been really cool to watch it evolve and watch the community go. They're still in the top 20 of PS4 downloads for this month. GTA is still up there like number 4 or something, but like Rainbow Six Siege is the little game that could, and I love to see it keep going. And we've talked about on the show a bunch. Yeah. How this is the way to get people into your game. Let people try it out, and if they like it, they'll stay.
Exactly.
And so this ends tonight. So if you're watching live, you still have an opportunity. If not, follow us over on Twitter, and we'll let you know when all these things are going down.
You should be following us on Twitter anyways.
Speaking of following, we hit a little bit of a milestone today, partly because of us moving the show to Facebook. We've reached 100 Facebook followers, and so now we're in triple digits on followers on all of the platforms except for Twitch. So if
Twitch,
all of you went and followed us over on Twitch,
then we would have it. But
we could be winning.
Twitch, I have a love-hate relationship with because Twitch is a good platform.
Same.
But if you don't play 8 to 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, then it's like unless you're have some weird niche or have boobs, then you don't get the followers. I do like some interesting musicians and stuff have been using that, like, you know, talk show-ish kind of thing. So they change it to talk show as their category, and they play. There's actually a couple, which I need to look up the name. There's a couple, as in a man-woman married unit, that play music together, and they play requests.
Nice.
And I was like, that's really cool.
There's a guy, and I forget his name, but he plays Overwatch, and between matches, he takes requests for what kind of classic game music you want to be playing in the background while he does it.
Okay,
so like cool. I got the minecart music from Donkey Kong Country on at one point, because that is great, like suspenseful Overwatch music, and I thought that was pretty fun.
That's good stuff. Speaking of suspenseful, because we've been waiting in suspense for this game for, I want to say, 23 years. Kingdom Hearts 3. Yeah. Yeah, something like that. Kingdom Hearts 3 so is going to have Pixar, which we knew already. Going to have Monsters, Inc. in it, and everyone's excited. And if I'm not mistaken, the release date's supposed to be announced at E3. Is that correct, or is it somewhere else?
Probably.
Because everyone's clamoring, saying it's going to be announced, and I thought they said E3, but either way, Monsters Inc. is in Kingdom Hearts, which is great because I love Monsters Inc.
Yeah, my favorite thing about this is getting to see Donald, Goofy, and Mickey in various incarnations of these particular IPs. That's a really fun thing, and that's probably my favorite bit about this. Yeah. So
I was thinking about how long we've been waiting for Kingdom Hearts 3. That was an ongoing like grievance and joke that Adam Sessler did back when G4 existed. Yeah. Every now and then he would end shows saying, "Quit asking me about when Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming out because I know just as much as you know." And if it was an ongoing joke that long ago. For those who don't remember G4. Yeah, I loved G4. I loved G4, awesome. Except that it got filled like halfway with Cops. And I was okay with them doing Ninja Warrior, but Cops just didn't seem to click. I didn't understand that. I think that other shows, like I would have put in some like weird 80s sitcoms like Small Wonder and stuff like that people are like, that's really weird and like no one remembers that. But I think that'd be funny.
Kind of like what Twitch did with
Bob Ross,
random shows like Bob Ross, and then they did. My favorite was when they did Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Mr. Rogers. I don't know how much of that stream I watched, but I got behind on all my podcasts, all of the stuff that I was supposed to be listening to. So it was pretty intense because yes, I do.
Okay, you know about
Tom Hanks.
Okay.
Tom Hanks announced for and Tom Hanks I feel is one of the people that I think could bring the it's not even gravitas. I don't know exactly how to describe it, but it's
purity. It's purity.
The goodness that Mr. Rogers brought into the world. Fred Rogers is like, for me, and this may be sacrilege to people, but I mean, I literally like 5 minutes ago defamed my own religion, so I'm allowed to do this. I put Mr. Rogers, as far as like purity and goodness, like up there with like the saints and Gandhi and like the Mother Teresa and those who spent their entire lives reaching out to other people and trying to make the world a better place. And he was a pastor, and so like there was he did it because of what he believed.
Yeah,
and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a sniper, as the internet would have.
Yeah, exactly.
But
the purity
were not covered in like tattoos and.
But just the honest. I don't think it's sacrilegious. I mean, like you put Gandhi and others in that category because they're people who just were that. I wouldn't put Mother Teresa in that category for reasons I'll go into later, but Gandhi, like, and a lot of others, like, they spent their lives trying to better the world and better people through a specific avenue, and his avenue was children because he's like, this is the future. And now we have generations of people who look up to his principles that he taught them, and how not only principles in how to act and how to treat other people and just everything. It's amazing. I think Tom Hanks is one of the few people who could pull it off. I think it's a perfect choice for that. But you didn't come here for that. You came here for gaming news.
It's true, and we do have gaming news. And speaking of things that are super sampling, is something that's being brought out with the 5.50 release on PlayStation. It's firmware release. They don't do like Microsoft does with their monthly update, and we're going to give you something cool every month. No, Sony doesn't do that. It's just every once in a while, hey, here's some stuff we thought you'd like.
Yeah.
So Xbox definitely wins that. But when PlayStation does release a new version, it's pretty cool.
We got some good stuff too. We got family management, which Nintendo does with the Switch as well. But not only lets you set time, but it also does a little warning saying, "Hey, you got 5 minutes left." Which I
really like this. I plan to use it as a way to monitor how long I've been playing certain games, because not every game has an in-game timer of, oh, hey, you've been playing this for this long, and I would like to be able to know, particularly for the roundup. Sometimes I'm like, I played, I don't know, it was probably about 20 minutes, felt like 4 hours.
Yep.
Every once in a while. And being able to do stuff like that. We also had, as I mentioned, the super sampling, which allows people without a 4K TV but with a PlayStation 4 Pro to get better clarity, better resolution on the games that they're playing. And then the other fantastic thing, which is something you and I have been asking for a long time, is the ability to hide demos.
Yeah.
Like if you played a demo and you're done with it.
Oh, I can get rid of demos and trials and free beta weekends and stuff that I don't want to see. I don't need to see, don't want to see. So I'm really happy about that. It just declutters it. And honestly, if you play like we do, then that's probably like 10 or 12 icons that are gone now. Also, we have PlayStation Plus tab on your library.
I like that.
It's a nice way to show, hey, here's your PlayStation Plus stuff that's going on right now. It's another easy way to access that. In addition to that, they also will have a new icon if your PlayStation Plus subscription has lapsed. Then you have a little icon to show you, hey, you can't play this game that you love because you didn't pay.
Yeah.
So
it's rough.
Yeah. We also got, hold on, we talked about the hidden thing from purchased. Quick menu tab, being able to add, change volume and everything. Okay, I'll be honest. Did PlayStation have a quick menu tab before?
Yeah. You I think you hold the PlayStation button and then it pops up.
Okay, had no idea. I usually just I'm playing a game, and then when I'm done, I'm playing the game. Or I'll toggle back to invite people to parties and stuff, but completely forgot that was a thing. In addition to that, what else did we get? You can delete notifications.
Yeah,
so that's good.
And I like that. And so there's a bunch of quality of life stuff. Nothing groundbreaking, but it is a lot of stuff that we were looking for. And honestly, the library cleanup is probably the biggest one for me, because my library is, I'm not trying to brag.
Yeah.
My library is so big.
Yep.
You have no idea.
Yeah, it's huge. Got no problems there.
And I download demos because I love demos. I love trying out games to find out, because like that was why I bought Monster Hunter at launch, because I played the demo, enjoyed the heck out of it, and it was a blast.
Yeah, it's
so
good. Yeah. That's why you need to have free demos, guys. Bring out the demos, devs.
Exactly.
Speaking of devs, unfortunately, there's some Capcom layoffs that are going on, which I hate saying it, but out of the companies that need layoffs, this is one that their track record has, let's say, caused some issues, and I hate saying that and talking as cold as that is, but it's unfortunate for people's jobs that there's going to be layoffs, but Capcom's made some really bad choices, and their sales have shown for that. This is going to reduce the scope of Dead Rising.
Except for Monster Hunter World.
Except for Monster Hunter World. It's like the one thing that they've done right. they've just been having misstep after misstep, and I'm convinced that Monster Hunter World they had to have had nothing to do with other than putting their name on it. Like there's no way that all the good decisions in that game, like I don't know how that came from Capcom, unless it came from a subset of Capcom that no one's allowed to touch.
There's a lot of weirdness that goes on in that game that is not intuitive. It doesn't really line up with a lot of the stuff that Capcom does. I have a bit of a take on the idea of reducing scope, and I'm curious what you think about it. So the Dead Rising 1 is entirely in a mall, and like
it's the best one.
Night of the Living, and Night of the Living Dead is a very contained story, and for me, zombie type stuff is best when it's a bit claustrophobic. And so for me, I see reducing the scope could be actually something similar to what they did with Resident Evil 7, because Resident Evil 7 takes place almost entirely in a house. And it worked. It was the best Resident Evil we've seen in a while. And so for me, I mean, I don't know about for you, but the idea of reducing Dead Rising in scope is not necessarily bad news. The layoffs are unfortunate. But the idea of bringing Dead Rising kind of back to where it was, I think that if that's the case, they promoted it or they announced it terribly. But I see reduction in scope as not necessarily a bad thing.
I agree. Dead Rising 1, I absolutely loved. Dead Rising 2 was okay, and I played a little bit of Dead Rising 3, I think, like very little. And part of it is because... it's the same thing that happened with the Saints series. They took something that they did really well, and they were like, "Hey, why don't we throw all this stuff in there?" I'm like,
and
they don't need it.
They put a lot of humor into it. That's a lot of it works, and it's done well. But not every game needs to be that. In fact, very few games need to be that.
I would agree.
So and speaking of things that are not necessarily, negative, even though they could be viewed that way. So we had a bit of news as far as Nintendo canon. And so the creator of Mario Odyssey said that Toad's, what we had presumed to be Toad's hat, his little mushroom on his head, is actually, he said that's his head, that's not his hat. And so a couple of things about that. First off, it doesn't ruin continuity. It establishes that the Super Show is not canon, because the picture that we're showing on the screen right now, I see that as a positive. I mean, it's like the CDI games.
They don't exist.
As far as Zelda canon, we don't talk about them. And there was some really weird decisions by Nintendo at that time that didn't necessarily line up. And like Luigi's wearing all kinds of weird colors, and it's the Super Show is. They were being a lot less careful at that point. And I mean, obviously the movie, not so much canon because that destroys everything about canon. But they also made an announcement. They were saying, that the way that Mario and Pauline and Peach and Bowser's relationship is not something that needs to be necessarily of concern to us. So, and I haven't confirmed this with you, but you can argue with me on this if you want. But in my mind, that establishes for me that they have some form of polyamorous relationship, and so I applaud Nintendo for putting a version of polyamory into Nintendo canon.
So, looking at this entire interview, especially when they talk about Mario's nipples versus his belly button and all those things, what I've come to learn about Nintendo in regards to the Mario franchise is they just make fun games, and they're not concerned with the canon. They're not concerned with overall continuity, and that I don't necessarily think that they're in a polyamorous relationship, but I will say I do believe that Peach is knowingly or willingly kidnapped by Bowser.
Absolutely. I don't think anyone's debating that.
I don't think anyone's debating it. Anyone who is mature and understands, she just keeps getting kidnapped, and she doesn't fight it. She just goes, oh no, and
see, I think
That's it.
I think it's kind of like a game that they all play together because, Bowser shows up for Mario's parties.
He does.
So,
well, I always viewed that as like he's like the really old friend that like he does stuff that really irritates you, and he says things that are not appropriate, but like you've known him for like 20 years, and you're just like, I gotta invite him to my birthday.
Yeah.
And and Peach is like, really, you're gonna invite him after everything? He's like, but he's my friend.
See, I think I see that entire conversation in reverse, and that's talking about Mario. Peach says, really, you're gonna invite him?
That's true.
Because Bowser and Peach is MVP. That's just me.
Yeah, I think they're definitely a thing. And they should, I'm fine with that. But I do like that Nintendo is like, this isn't something you should be concerned with, because I don't think that they want people to worry about the relationships of these fictional characters, because one, I think Nintendo is trying to move away from the damsel in distress kind of thing from Peach, at least a little bit. And I think that she does get thrown in there in regards to, like, she's kidnapped, but like I said, I view it as a willing participant kind of thing. Like in Odyssey, he kidnaps her because he wants to marry her, and I don't think that she's unwilling in that. First of all, he's
so have you seen the ending?
I haven't.
Okay, I won't spoil it, but okay. I'll just say that the ending supports that idea.
Okay.
And those of you who have seen the ending, you know what I'm talking about.
Fantastic.
So I think it's really cool, and I feel that Peach has a lot more. In the chat, we've got Natalie, Eddie Izzard moment. Oh, I've been captured.
Again.
A little bit of that. But yeah, I think that Peach has more power in the relationship than she lets on, and that's how those relationships should work. Everybody should be autonomous.
She can have him stop whenever she wants. She just hasn't said a safe word.
Exactly. So speaking of safe words, everybody did not disarm their nukes on the PS4 or I'm sorry, the PC version of Metal Gear Solid 5, but the cutscene unlocked for everybody, and Konami has no idea why. There was a weird setup where if a person got all the way up to the top tier and they were able to do nukes, they have the option to disable their own nukes.
Yep.
And there was a cutscene that would only trigger if everybody in the game, like connected to the servers, did that, which was never going to happen. I don't know why that's there. The only way that this was ever going to be discovered was via data mining.
Yep.
But they found it.
Which is how we got it. How we got it a couple of years ago, actually. Like, they data mined it and got this, the video, but it didn't unlock. It can't unlock on your console or your PC. This was data mined, and now it's available on PC. But the whole idea was, I mean, they put it in there because they thought, okay, well, maybe everyone will get together as a community and disarm. But the problem is, you're always going to have a couple outliers who don't want to disarm, their nukes, because that is the ultimate way to protect yourself in the game, in the multiplayer aspect of the game. I didn't play that much of the multiplayer aspect of it, though. I know some people liked it, but I don't know, wasn't my thing. I loved the game.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of news there. It's just a really weird quirk that happened as a result of some kind of thing that activated and verified that Konami has no idea what they're doing still. So
speaking of things that don't know what they're doing, I don't know what I'm doing when I play Overwatch.
That is accurate, because for a second I thought you were going to say that Blizzard didn't know what they were doing with Overwatch, and I was about to fight you through a camera.
Oh no, Blizzard knows. I know basically what I'm supposed to do, but the nuances. I mean, playing Overwatch online for me is like playing Call of Duty with your brothers. I am dragging the team down, but I'm having fun, and every now and then I get to do some really good things. And so Overwatch is the lunar New Year, so it's the year of the dog is going on. We get a new map and all kinds of stuff that you can probably tell us.
Specifically a capture the flag map, which I'm really excited about because I really enjoyed capture the flag when it was out. And so now there's a specific map for capture the flag, and capture the flag is a permanent part of the rotation. And that's really exciting for me because I'm not great at the actual like shooting, killing, but I can run around and swoop up a flag. They also changed it so that number one, the you don't have to stand on the flag to capture it. You can just run over and grab it, which for me is a huge benefit because basically before that everybody just had a bastion that just sat there and just kind of looked at the flag, waited for you to pick it up, and then and you died. And that's just how it went. Yeah. And so I really like that that's not a thing anymore. And then the second thing that they did is they said nobody likes ties, but particularly on capture the flag match, like if you fight to a draw in like a progression or carry the payload or whatever, that's one thing. But as far as capture the flag, you don't want to have a draw. And so after time expires, they'll move it to a sudden death, and they actually move the flags closer to each other, which is awesome. That is the way that should be done, and that makes me really happy and more likely to play the game. So, and Jeff Kaplan, because that dude's awesome.
Well, and another game like I enjoyed playing was The Surge, and we're going to get a sequel, which I'm happy about. So The Surge is the futuristic Souls-like game that came out last year, which I thought was pretty good. It's just in my rotation of games, I didn't. I'll probably go back and play it because I enjoyed it, but I didn't pick it up because of my backlog of games. This is probably going to be in my backlog, though. I'm happy that Surge 2 is coming out, though, because I feel like this is a situation where they can improve on what they did with the first game and give us an even better product, because it's not a perfect game. I think it has some really great upsides. I think a lot of the game design in regards to the level design is very much like Dark Souls or Demon's Souls, and I really appreciate that in regards to the level design, in regards to unlocking paths where you unlock shortcuts, but they're not apparent to you until you've unlocked them. The grinding that is kind of grinding but kind of not grinding. It's fantastic, and I'm really glad they're getting a sequel to this.
I'm also glad that this is the game from them that got a sequel, because we didn't really like Lords of the Fallen that much, but this is a different kind of thing. And so if we get, did they say when this was coming out?
I didn't
think this
see.
is supposed to be a 2019, right?
Yeah, I think they said 2019.
Okay.
Which
between getting Code Vein this year, hopefully, and then getting this next year, I like the idea of having a Souls type of game, because this year we got Neo, and
last year.
I love Souls games.
Yeah.
I honestly don't need more than one a year, because that tends to like just take up my backlog and just climb to the top of my backlog and stand there and be like, you got to play me now.
You got to be
because that's just how I view those games.
Yeah, and I like.
I will.
Mm-hmm. Good.
I see it as highly likely that the Surge will come to PS Plus or Xbox Games with Gold before this comes out, and it was already on Gold, wasn't it? Was that how you played it, or was it a demo?
I believe I played it on beta. I'll have to double check, because if I have that in Gold, I'll be very happy, because it's something I enjoy. I want to say Lords of the Fallen was on Gold, but I want to say Surge I played as a beta. I'm pretty sure I played it as a beta, because it kept ending on a certain boss.
Okay, there you go.
But Lords of the Fallen, to me, Lords of the Fallen was it was like it was trying to combine Dark Souls with Skyrim, and it didn't quite click. And the Surge is different enough. Yeah. Surge is different enough that it works.
And I like the ability, because once you change the setting, it becomes something different. Because like you said, Lords of the Fallen was extremely similar to Souls in setting, and so you've got that sci-fi version. With Code Vein, you've got this ninja magic, vampire. You've got something else going on for it, and that's something that I can appreciate. Neo was a great example. You had the samurai, and you had the historical setting ish, and that worked. And I think that the particulars about the way that From Software handles the fantasy, the magical fantasy setting, really works well for that series. And so for me, they've got that on lockdown. But if you want to explore another genre, or not another genre, but another setting, another style, go for it. And this seems to be something very much in that Code vein. So yeah, we do have one last bit of news for you. This is I tend to put rumors down toward the bottom, and the rumor that Eurogamer has said that they've confirmed. I haven't seen it on any other sites, but Eurogamer said that they confirmed it through multiple sites, and then other sources or other sites picked it up and then ran with it. Is they said that that Bandai Namco is taking care of the next version of Metroid Prime 4, and that's really interesting to me. We already knew that Retro wasn't working on this, and so Bandai is like, at least they didn't give it to Capcom or something. Like Bandai Namco is the ones who publishes the Souls games, and good on them. They come up with that kind of stuff, and it's I think that they will allow the studios to really explore that side, and they don't try to. Look, I love Ubisoft, but their games do tend to conform to a very specific formula, and most of their games can feel very samey. Yeah. I'm hoping at E3 this year we find out that they're bringing back Ubi Art or something, because let me buy those games again, because Valiant Hearts and Child of Light were absolutely magnificent games, and I would love to play more of that style, that kind of thing. Yeah. And so go ahead.
I was just gonna say I'm still waiting for some Metroid on the Switch, because I want some 2D Metroid on the Switch. They put out Samus Returns last year, which is why I put that on there for the video source. It came out on 3DS, and I'm like, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm playing on my Switch, and I have my.
Come with us.
Yeah, come with us. I mean, so when it comes to handhelds, it's a handheld. I bring it. I bring it with me. I have a certain. I'm not going to bring my 3DS and my Switch. I'm sorry. Yeah. So put it on the Switch. Give me some Metroid on the Switch. That's what everyone wants. 3DS needs to die, and we've talked about it before. 3DS is over. It's over. Let's make the Switch over to Switch. Get everyone over to that platform. You've sold a ton of them. You'll sell more if you make sure that you say, hey, we're now going to move all of our properties, all of our upcoming games are going to come out on Switch. They're not going to come out on 3DS. And put them out on both. If you want to put out something, honestly, something like a 2D Metroid is going to be fine on both. You can do that on 3DS and give it to me on Switch. Give it to me as a digital download. Come on.
Well, originally, Metroid Returns was something that was on a single screen. Yeah. And so I honestly, I haven't played it yet, so I don't know the functionality of the second screen. But hell, if you want to just turn it vertical and let me see two screens that way and make it where you can only play with the Joy-Cons a certain. Okay, fine, whatever. Just put it on the Switch. But this is something that Nintendo historically is very, very slow and reluctant to move entirely into a single. They don't like to put all of their eggs into a single console. But having managed to marry console and handheld successfully when nobody else had been able to do that, I think that it is time for them to embrace that success. and I think that they're moving slowly in that direction.
Yeah, I think so. And
Fingers crossed.
everyone else is moving in that direction too. I now have a console that I can bring around with me that is both a home console and a handheld, I'm looking forward to a time when I don't have to buy Nintendo properties on two different consoles to say, well, this Zelda game's here and this Zelda game is here, and I have to have both, because I just want one console to bring around with me. I don't need multiple handhelds. I have my phone, I have my Switch. That's all I need. Anyways, let us know in the comments what you think about that. Let us know if you think that Nintendo is going to kill off the 3DS by the end of the year, because I think that's what they're doing. We'll see you later.
Mm-hmm. I suspect.
Thanks for watching This Week in Our Collective Heads. Subscribe over here and click the bell, and that way you'll know about any new videos that we put up, because we put up a lot of gameplay, a lot of stories from games and stuff like that, and gameplay is down here.
Yeah, and you got more editorials and news stuff down here. Check it out.